should people be refused entry to places like gyms, concert venues, even restaurants, if they haven't been vaccinated?
Yes, despite the government denying it has plans for a so-called vaccine passport, the debate is causing fierce divisions across the country. So we are joined now by the founder of Pimlico Plumbers, Charlie Mullins. Now,
hi, good morning.
Very good morning to you, Charlie. You say you're going to refuse to send plumbers to customers who haven't been vaccinated, and you're going to make sure that all your plumbers are vaccinated. But we are also... well, hang on a moment, because we're also joined by presenter and comedian David Sideman Whiteley, who says you're hesitant about having the vaccine and you do not want people ostracised from society just because they're unsure about it. So, Charlie, it's fair enough that you might want all your employees to have it, although I expect some of them might have reasons not to have it and they might have objections to it. But to insist on your customers having it, is that not a step too far?
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to find most people are going to want to have it, and I think it's going to become a standard thing across the country that people have been vaccinated, and if they're not vaccinated, not going to be able to travel, not going to be able to go in gyms, theatres, and maybe even in the workplace. So I don't think I'm saying anything that's not common sense.
OK, but if I wanted to call out Pimlico Plumbers and I was pregnant, for instance, not in my plans, but if I was, would you refuse to send a plumber to my home? Because currently, as I understand it, pregnant women are being advised not to get the vaccine.
Yeah, well, look, there's obviously exceptions and you can't force anyone to have it. But I'm saying is that, you know, I think it's going to be important to protect customers and their members of staff when they're going out to visit jobs. So if the standard thing is to have it, then that's the inquiry we've been making.
How would you feel, Charlie, if you weren't allowed to go to, say, a restaurant without a vaccine certificate or a pub?
I feel they're totally right. They're running a business. It's killed over 60,000 people in the UK, destroyed many people's life. We've found a silver bullet for the cure of it. We need to take it. OK, well, David Whiteley, it's a very interesting conundrum, this, really, because if you want to get on a plane, which you can, you're allowed to travel now, we're out of lockdown, you can go to a number of countries, particularly those that have, you know, the corridor, and there's no quarantine either end, but you will have to have, I think in every case now, a COVID negative test result within a few days of flying. That's the rule before you can leave the country. Why should it be different, actually, to where you can go in the country?
I think, obviously, like the COVID test, obviously, that's like a lot less invasive than a vaccine. And I think it's important to understand that different people have different fear levels for different things. The same fear level that our Pimlico man here might have towards COVID is the same fear other people have towards the vaccine and the government, and that different kind of distrust that they have there, where they feel like that's equally as unsafe.
Would you have it?
Me, at this point, I actually don't know. I actually don't know where I stand.
And what is stopping you? Because my understanding of it, and I've researched it pretty thoroughly to try and get my head around this, is that once it gets approval, it's about as safe as it can get. I mean, when they approve these things, it's not about cutting corners. There's been no corner cutting on safety, so there's no logical reason not to have it. What is your objection?
See, that's the thing. I think saying things like there's no logical reason because once they've said it, then it's as safe as it can be is just words in the ether to me.
It's interesting, David, you mentioned a couple of things. I mean, firstly, I would also be utterly confident if the scientists told me if it's safe, which they have done. But you mentioned just a little bit earlier on a fear of the government. Is part of your problem that you don't trust the government's advice in this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the government's handling of this pandemic, our government has been one of the most criticised in the world. And then now we're the first to sanction a vaccine because I believe that the government is made up of people and people have agendas, people have feelings. I don't feel like it's impossible to suggest that we've pushed a vaccine forward quicker than everybody else to save face, more than it's about protecting the people.
I mean, Charlie, it is interesting, isn't it? There's no doubt trust in our government is very low and one of the lowest, you know, of any comparable country in the world because we have the worst death toll in Europe, and we also have the worst economic record this year through this pandemic. It's understandable that certain people are like, well, why should I trust the government when they tell me it's safe?
Yeah, look, I'm sure I understand that, but you've got to look at the point that, you know, we've now found the vaccine that's going to help a lot of people. We've all been moaning and belly aching that we can't go to work, we can't go theatres, we can't travel. We're now being offered a cure for it, and we're turning our nose up it. I mean, it's a can't-win situation. We need to take the vaccine. The more people that take it, the more we get rid of this illness, the more we get back to normal working life.
OK.
So what's wrong with that?
Just quickly, Dr. Hillary, I'd mentioned pregnant women would therefore have to form an exemption to Pimlico Plumbers rule, but who are the others who are being advised not to get the vaccine at this moment?
So currently there's no data to support the complete safety in pregnancy or indeed in breastfeeding. Under 16s won't be vaccinated at this stage. Anyone with allergies to any of the components of the vaccine. And whilst immunosuppressed people can have the vaccine, it's possible that they may not respond. They may not mount a good immune response, but they can still go ahead and have the vaccine. So there's only a very small number of people, and that's only because we don't yet have the data. It may be that when we have further trials in animals and in humans in pregnancy, done in a very controlled way, that they too will be able to have the vaccine, but currently not at the moment.
Just want to give a quick shout-out to a big event. It's the Nordoff Robbins Virtual Carol Service, 7 p.m, 15th of December, streaming live, carols at nordoffrobbins.org.uk. It's a brilliant organisation, introduced by Nile Rodgers of Chic, Rod Stewart, Robbie Williams, Robert Plant, Misha Paris, Kaiser Chiefs, many more. Sounds a brilliant event, great charity. Please get involved if you can. It's on the 15th of December at 7 p.m.
Huge thank you to Charlie Mullins there, and also David Sideman Whiteley. Thank you.
I love your
very
nickname,
much indeed.
DJ Sideman. I need a nickname like that.